welcome to this session of scenario-based config updates. So what is scenarios? As this software is capable of extracting the data from any kind of media files or documents to the Excel format or virtual PDF or CSV or JSON, but there are multiple ways to achieve that output. One output that we have covered in the video session, which was process your first document. So this process your first document means we have packaged the config.json file in the installer. That config.json file is ready for the market solution, where most of the demanding requirement is where you have some invoices or any kind of documents, and you can just simply give your input query or prompt and give you the Excel fields and everything, and you have to just give your media storage location and result storage location, and you have to give your Vision API credentials and ChatGPT queries there and ChatGPT tokens you have to pass. The next thing you have to pass ChatGPT token here and API key. That's it. So this is a simple requirement, and everything is described very detailed in this video. Now, there are other scenarios. I would have spoke about custom logics, regex. We can use some batch ChatGPT. All these are multiple scenarios, right? So these are the scenarios which I'm talking about. So I just gonna help you how you can configure it. The flow is same. So example, once you have configured the configuration, so how to execute it after setup and installation, how to follow the configuration for different scenarios, you have to do that, and how to start the application from the terminal is already covered here. So scenario is first is what we have delivered in your installer. This is where we are using Google OCR and GPT API. That's it. And we have clearly mentioned what are the fields to change in our config.json. And for each fields, we have some requirement which is given in the prerequisites that you can follow, and the videos for that same. So this is your first scenario that is covered, and second scenario is where we have real-time extraction from images using ChatGPT Vision API. So in this Vision API, what it means. So in here you can see we are skipping the Google OCR because we are using only ChatGPT Vision API to do all the tasks in one go. But yes, cost varies because it's image, and we are passing this image to ChatGPT. It's gonna take a lot of time. It's gonna take a lot of tokens, so it impact your costing. Time budget is very fast, no issues. It is same almost. It depends how simpler you want to keep the use case. So here I have given simply, ChatGPT authentication token you have to give, the fields map you have to give, what are the field that you want to extract, and the ChatGPT query. So ChatGPT query is not required in this scenario. I have given it very clearly. What we need is you just have to give your ChatGPT token, and you have to mute ChatGPT as true because we are not using simple ChatGPT, that it means. So it is true. In field map, you are passing this information. In the use vision, okay, so if you search for this field here, you can see vision is allow is false. You have to set it as true, and model name you can give it here. Here we're gonna give it a query. So we are just simply saying this is the image document, and you have to find this and blah blah fields, and this is the instructions that we are giving. That's it. We have given these things. We have filled this section. You can map it, and you can just fine tune your tokens. Tokens mean independent input and output. So collectively, your query to the ChatGPT and the output is called tokens. So based on the token, it defines the usage or billing. So once you follow these settings for scenario number 2, once it is done, you just have to run it. That's it. You will get the results for the new documents. So this is the scenario 1 or 2. One we have covered. So this is scenario 2. Here is the custom logic. So in the custom logic, so there are two ways to use custom logic. Okay, there are 3 ones. So one is regular expressions. So if you search for regular expression maker, right? So it will make a regular expression for you. So if you search for the example, this is just a site example. So you just have to give a instruction. So example, paste a simple sample text like this, and it will generate a regex for this, right? So this is a regular expression for it, right? So you can copy the regular expression, and we can define it into the fields. So okay, so example here for regular expressions, we are using Google OCR for data extraction. ChatGPT query is not required. Field map is also there. Sorry, this is for scenario one. So since we are covering the regex, so let's go to point number 3. So in point number 3, I have clearly mentioned that using how to use regular expression, you just have to add the field mapping, the field that you want in the Excel, and for each correspondence field, we have defined regex. Example for batch number, for MRP, you can give number of expression. Like for one expression, it is the first priority. If it doesn't give any results, we will try the second one. So in that way, you don't have to reuse the ChatGPT. It is offline. Only Google OCR we need if it is a scanned document. Otherwise, it is a searchable document. So this is for regex, how you can use it, and these all settings are there in the config file. So example, in the config file, it is there. You just have to fill the data here. That's it for each and every field. So first was using custom logic. So for custom logic, first of all, this is must. This is must. So Vision API we are using if it is a scanned document. If it is a searchable PDF, it automatically skip that and it will don't use Google OCR even. ChatGPT query don't need because we are using regex or custom logic. Field map will change accordingly based on the requirement, and uh, you have to specify the field, of course, if it's not dynamic. Mute ChatGPT is true. Use custom logic is true. So use custom logic for NER. So NER is name entity recognition. So use custom logic for NER. For NER, we have custom logic. I think that field is all one. We have not. It is not in use. You can just simply mute the ChatGPT. It will automatically use custom logic. So using plugin file. So very simple. We have given. So search for the plugin file. So for the plugin file, you can define your Python file name. So here is a Python file. You can give the full path or wherever the file is located in your system, and that's it for plugin. And so as I said earlier, this is must. This is common for all the custom logic types. Once it is defined, then update your Python file, and then you just in your Python source code, in this .py file, just write a function run. This is must, and this is argument that we're gonna pass it to your function while calling. So we're gonna call this run function, and inside that we're gonna pass the text content, and this is your logic internally. Now inside your file, you are writing this main function. You will call some Azure logic or some any third-party ChatGPT or your custom logic even. You can use your own code, and we are expecting return response as a field. What is return response? So return response is basically the fields that you have defined. So in the field map, what are the fields that you have described? Just return that field in the dictionary format. Or if it is a dynamic logic, then you can pass whatever you want. So that will come in the Excel as a result. Second one is using document specific custom logic. So this is basically from the application side. So sometimes the requirement is you want installer as inbuilt plugin, so that you don't have to configure it all. So in that case, when it is enabled, so plugin file is not required. So you can just type your domain. So domain is basically what we have implemented internally. So we will tell you, okay, this is your invoice docs. So for invoice docs internally, we have a source file. It will route to those source file to get the results instead of relying on the ChatGPT. And this is regular expression as I explained earlier. So everything is covered in detail here, and I hope that will help to set up the scenario number 3. So the next scenario is Batch API. So for the Batch API, so what Batch API is, if you search for ChatGPT Batch API, it is Batch API which run in the backend for 24-hour window. So in the normal ChatGPT API, you will get the results on spot. But in case of Batch, it will give results within 24 hours. That is why it is cheaper than actual real time. There are two types of API. One is Vision. So Vision means you can just pass the image directly, and the second one is using normal. We OCR it first, and then we pass the text to the ChatGPT for processing. So in the Vision, you just need to give a ChatGPT token, the field map. So basically, whatever the column you want in Excel, and the ChatGPT query is not required here because we have another section. As you can see here, for the Batch API, we have Okay, we have allow as, you have to set it as true, which is given here clearly. Once it is true, so you have to update your settings called the query. Like this is the this is the query we have to pass for the result. So this is the image content, and we are clearly mentioning that what we need here. So for batch API, you have to fill those data. So so this is true. And for vision, if you want to use the vision API, you have to set vision as true. For text, you have to true. So text means we are doing a Google OCR as earlier, what then we are passing a text to ChatGPT. But for vision, we are just setting it to true directly. So based on that, we have to update a token here. We have to so this payload is basically from the ChatGPT API document reference. We are not adding it from our side. So this is, it is same. You will know that, you will get to know that where to pass the model name, you know what the query to be added here. So it's the image. So other things we are going to pass internally. So I have given it very clearly here what data you need to update here for what. So for the vision, you can see clearly what I have given here. I just pass the model names, I just pass the tokens, and I just give the description. That's it. So all the data, image, and all URL will be set internally based on your folder scanning and the runtime tasks. And this is for text base. This work on text. So we have to extract the text from the document. If it is scanned document, then we need to OCR it first. Otherwise, we can do it directly. We don't need OCR. So we have to run the pipeline using custom logic on searcher, PDF, or images. So as I explained earlier, 5.3. So if I go to 5.3, we have to follow the 5.3 pipeline first. Suppose if you have bulk document in 1,000 or some large quantity, just follow one of this approach. Once it is done, we are back to this. And once we are back to this, we have to just, we have a then searchable document ready. Now we have to run the pipeline again. So how we can do that? We have to update batch API settings, and we have to update the we have to apply basically this config. You can see that, and we have to modify the response prompt and all. And ChatGPT query we need to add in the prompt, right? Before running the file, delete tracker file and CSV folder in the results. So once you do that, so example here in the CSV here, if I go back, uh, if you delete CSV and uh, and tracker file, so we are not deleting these files. These are Google OCR results files. So we're gonna reuse it again, but to only get the text, and we're gonna pass the text to ChatGPT for the backend processing for 24-hour window. So that's it. So it will keep on scanning and it will show the result as same as it. So with this we have covered almost all. So let's jump to the next scenario. Okay, we'll cover that later. So let's go to 5.9. So generate dynamic fields. So generate dynamic fields mean so you know that we define the field map. We define the field to be adding the Excel, right? So if you see the field map here, we're gonna define the custom fields here. Sorry, the field names to be have a column names. But sometimes there is a situation we don't know what field to extract. We don't know okay, we want key value pairs from that page. Example, there's a paragraph or summarization or some big invoice document. You don't know what fields you need. You need everything, whatever you fit. Okay, whatever you can give, okay, give me. So AI know better. So that is where you have dynamic key value extraction. So in that case, you have to keep the field map empty. You can add a new setting called dynamic key value. So when you add it as true, our software will automatically look for those fields in the document using AI. So basically, we are passing text to the AI, and AI will figure out what field we need. Or you can use your custom logic as defined in 5.3 section. In the custom logic also, when you set this as true and it is empty, you can pass whatever dictionary as a return output, and we're gonna store into the Excel. So dynamic field, that is what dynamic fields. So in the real-time GPT setting for the dynamic field, okay, we have to change these settings, and we can split the query. So basically, this dynamic field is clear now. The next thing, split query in setup. So sometimes the query is very big, and ChatGPT token limit exceeds. So in that case, you can define the limit. So example, you want to split, and you can define the query in the 10 lines. But example, you have 100 lines in your query, so you can make a 10 request one by one and make a one row of the result. So this is splitting mean. So this way you can save your tokens. I mean, it will keep your results output complete instead of partial. Sometimes ChatGPT has limit, right? So that's why it based on your document size, how big is your content of the image text. Yeah, everything is defined here very completely. So yeah, so generating a dynamic field for custom logic, as I explained earlier, field map, that's it. And based on your custom logic, you will get the fields. And for the meter maid, enable and load balancing. So this is not a scenario, this is a feature in our application. So whatever scenarios I covered, that is a different thing. This is just a feature. So suppose uh, when you apply for ChatGPT token or Google OCR token, they have their own monitoring. You can set your triggers or filter that after that 10K document or 10K API request, don't process anything for controlling your credit card and all consumption. At the same time, we can do it from our application. So we have a meter maid and load balancing. So meter maid is nothing. We are tracking all of your ChatGPT or Google OCR requests that you are making, and we are ensuring that in that particular time frame you are calling that number of requests that you have configured. So basically it's nothing. Just go to the balance script and in the config.json and set it as true. And once it is set as true, so you can define a number of requests that you want to regulate. So here in meter maid setting, it is true. Example, in the meter maid setting, you can define, for example, in the real-time text, real-time Vision API, batch text, you can define the numbers. Example here, Google API, Document OCR, we are going to support only 10 requests per day or maybe. So that means, for example, for this Google Vision API, you can check for the Google API here in the section of settings. So first thing is in the main meter maid setting, you have to change the limit of the query. So example, for real time, how many requests we can make, same for Google API. Then in settings section, you can just set as true, and then in the session duration, look for your feature. Example, for Google API, we have set for document OCR. Then same thing, Google API, look for the document OCR and define the days. Example, for 1 day, 20 hours. So you can define the number of days or hours or minute or seconds you want to control, you want to allow this API to be in use. So example, for the Google API, if the duration is 30 days, then for 30 days we can only run the Google API for the given requests. Example, here we can only run 10 requests in a month, or based on the days or whatever we have defined, or seconds. So once this is exceeded, it will be blocked for that particular time, and after that time is exceeded, it will refresh again and you can use it again. So let's say your 30 days is passed. After that next 30 days, it will automatically refresh and it will allow again. The next thing is balance credential. So balance is, if it is true, balance means, so whatever the credential that you are giving, you can give multiple credentials. So example like this also. So multiple credentials mean you can API will use either this one or this one in the random manner, or basically it's for using multiple credentials, so that it will not utilize only one quota of your API. And same for the same applies to the ChatGPT. So for the ChatGPT, you can give multiple ChatGPT tokens here. So you can pass multiple as a list, so it will use that one. If balance creds is not true, it will first use your first preference as this credentials. Once this quota is over, if you have another credential configured, it will start using it. But in case of balance credential, it will use both randomly. It will utilize both credentials at the same time. So here it covered the overall scenarios, and this is the overall scenarios and the all of them, almost all the features that application has. So here we have covered scenario based configurations. So thank you for watching.